Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into the Big Friday Kickoff Podcast. I'm Emily Cochran. He's Robert Ristaneo. We both hope y'all are having a very happy Mardi Gras. Robert knows I just experienced my first official Mobile Mardi Gras, covering it for Fox 10. Went out to the parades on Friday. There was, 110,000 people out there, something like that?
Yeah, I think, what was it, 119 maybe or something like that?
Crazy numbers. You guys absolutely showed out. It was so much fun. And I told Robert this, Mardi Gras is 100% a sport. You cannot convince me otherwise. I've learned that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Some of those guys on the floats were throwing footballs, and they had some arms on them. They could be, the starting quarterbacks for some of our high school teams. And I say that because we are talking about quarterbacks today. We're talking about 6A and 5A, the new 6A and 5A, talking about the quarterbacks that are going to be starting this year, who we know is starting, and then we've got some question marks next to some of these teams, but that's what we're talking today.
Yeah, we, a little behind the scenes here, we have Fat Tuesday tomorrow, so we're recording this on a Monday.
Yes.
And me and Emily will basically be working from sun up till sundown. So we won't have any time to record this tomorrow, and we're going to be exhausted on Wednesday. You're not even going to be here, I don't think.
I'm hopefully going to Montgomery to watch the St. Michael basketball team. So I will not be here Wednesday. So that's why we're doing this today.
Yes. So we had to come up with something that wouldn't be dated by Wednesday when we usually release an episode. And I haven't told you this yet. Already started looking at some football stuff this week. So I just kind of had the idea, let's power rank some positions, This is a fun thing to do. I thought about maybe trying to do a draft style thing, but I feel like we would need at least one more person, because then it would just be you and me, taking players back and forth, which I do think we should try and do in the future.
I wish we had fantasy football for high school in our area.
Yeah.
It would be totally doable.
I mean, we could do that at the station.
Yeah,
honestly.
we
There's
definitely
enough people who follow it that I think we could set something up.
Yeah, maybe between me, you, Dacian, Kip, Hal.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably figure something up.
Yeah.
I think that would be really fun.
So what we came up with is we're going to kind of do a power ranking of the 6A and 5A quarterbacks that we know of for sure. This is the former 7A, 6A divisions after the reclassification. So these are your bigger schools, and most of them have returning starting quarterbacks. Which
a lot of seniors this year, especially in the new 6A, former 7A.
Right. So this made this one kind of easy and kind of fun to do. So me and Emily have not really talked through these rankings. I mean, we briefly spoke for a minute about it before we started, and then we were like, let's just go through it on the podcast. So how do you want to kick this thing off?
Do we want to start with who do you think is the best quarterback overall? Who would be your number one?
Yes, actually, before we get to that, just a note here. We are not going to rank Baldwin County, Alberta, or Theodore, because we're just not sure who their starting quarterback is going to be. And some of their options at quarterback, we don't really have much information
Stat-wise
on.
To go on. Or we don't have numbers.
So Baldwin County, Alberta, and Theodore are going to be left off this list for now until we get some more information.
We'll talk a little bit about the candidates and who could,
Sure.
starting wise, but as far as rankings go, we just don't have enough info to rank them.
So should we start at the bottom or start at the top, you think?
I think start at the top.
Start at the top? Okay. Okay, so number one, this is between 6A and 5A. I think my number one is Jameson Roberts.
That's my number one as well. I mean, he just got an offer to play in the Under Armour Next camp. I keep up with him a lot on socials because, Larry that works with QB Country goes out and watches him practice a lot because he is working with QB Country. He's got offers from Oklahoma, Auburn, Kentucky, Colorado, Ole Miss. I mean, he's got a ton of SEC offers. I think the Colorado offer is probably the newest one that he's gotten. Just extremely talented. I mean, we saw when he came in behind KJ Lacey, and I think we just kind of wondered, okay, what's he going to look like? How are you going to come in after a guy like that? And he pretty much picked up right where KJ left off.
Yeah.
I mean, he played a couple games that season that KJ got hurt, so he got some experience, and then he was the starter, all games last year, took them all the way to the finals, and they lost to Clay Chalkville.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, if I had to pick number one overall in 6A and 5A, I'm definitely picking Jamison Roberts. I think the kid is extremely talented. And if I had to make an early prediction of where I think he's going, I'm saying Oklahoma.
Okay.
I think he's going to Oklahoma if I had to guess.
All right. Don't count out my Wildcats now. All right.
Yeah. Well, don't count out my Rebels either, because he got an offer from Ole Miss too. So
got an offensive minded head coach right now. He's going after all the 5 stars. I absolutely love it. Yeah, Jamison Roberts going into his senior year, he as everything that you just said, picked up right where KJ left off. Saraland didn't miss a beat. I guess the only interesting thing this year for him is the weapons now that there's no Deshaun Spencer, right? Because the last couple seasons, Ryan Williams graduated, but they still had Sante McWilliams, C.D. Gill, and Deshaun Spencer kind of came on. Now, going into his year, they had Deshaun Spencer fill in for the C.D. Gill role. They had P.J. Brown from Mobile Christian fill in at that running back role. Now, the receiving core is a little bit up in the air, and they just lost what they probably projected to be their starting running back to Spanish Fort.
yeah.
So the weapons for Saraland are a little bit of a question mark, but I think there's no doubt that talent-wise, I think he's top of the list.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I 100% agree. I feel like he's an easy number one pick.
All right. So who do we have second here?
So I think I'm going Christian Seeger here from Daphne. Watching what he did with the Trojans last year, coming in, taking over as the starter, transferring from Spanish Fort, just how seamlessly he picked up that playbook and got into it. Now that he's got a year under his belt as the starter, he's a senior this year. Daphne made it past the first round of the playoffs, which I couldn't tell you the last time they did that. I mean, all 4 of our 7A teams made it out of the first round. I really, really like Christian Seeger. He's one of our former player of the weeks. I mean, Jamison Roberts was too. I mean, these are 2 guys that could have easily been our player of the year this year with the way that they played. So my number 2 is Christian Seeger, the senior quarterback out of Daphne.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a little cluster right here with 2 other guys for that kind of second spot. But I'm totally good with Christian Seeger. I mean, this is a kid who, pushing for 3,000 yards, pushing for 40 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over really at all, completing almost 60% of his or 70% of his passes.
That's what really got it for me, because I was torn between him and Tate Graham. Tate turns the ball over a little more.
Yeah.
He's not as disciplined. So, I mean, if you look at their interceptions last season, I mean, Tate threw 7 interceptions compared to Christian's 4 interceptions. And completion percentage. That's really what did it for me. Who's more disciplined and less likely to turn the ball over.
Yeah, and the other guy kind of in that cluster, Trey Gardner, I mean, there's probably some people out there who would tell you he's has the most talented arm out of these 3 guys, but I think just the combination of numbers kind of coming in from Spanish Fort and taking over this Daphne job and leading them to the success that they had, I think kind of puts him there at number 2. He's got similar question marks to Jamison Roberts. I mean, he loses a lot of his guys.
Yeah, that
this
is
year.
Another thing. But I mean, last year 37 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Compared to Tate's 27 and Trey's 23. So that's just a big jump. So that's kind of what did it for me and why I put him at number 2. For me, right behind him, I put Tate at number 3.
Yeah.
I've got Tate at number 3. A veteran, senior. I mean, and he's also, I just feel really good about Baker and the trajectory where they're headed. I really like Eric Scott and what he did in his first year, now headed into year 2. Another thing about Tate is Tate also plays baseball. And I just listened to him talk at media days that, they just had their first ever baseball media night. And I heard Tate, talking and getting ready for baseball. And I just really like a guy that's a dual sport athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it keeps him loose. And so I got to stick with Tate right there at number 3 for me.
Yeah, and he's a guy, he's coming into his 3rd year as the starter. He knows the system well. He's an efficient passer. led them to really good success. I mean, their last couple seasons, that's two of the best seasons, Baker's really kind of ever had as a program.
Yeah, I mean, they won the region title for the first time since 1989, and it majority of the season, we kind of thought that they would be, probably that number 2 seed right there behind MGM, and then there was potential that they would have ended up being the number 4 seed going into the playoffs, but when they got that win over MGM to win the region title, that put them in the number 1 spot.
Yep.
So, I just think Tate performs well under pressure, and what more pressure is there than a moment like that? So,
and he also, Baker from 2 years ago to last year lost a ton of that defense that made them so good, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so they were going to have to put up more points this past season to kind of try and replicate some of that success that they had the year before. And they did that. And he stepped up big time. His numbers took a big jump. Katori Marion, Speedy Wheeler, those guys thrived in this system. Again, he loses his top 4 receivers from the year before. They bring back kind of their second running back, who's a pretty good player, but he's going to have to take that lead role now without Speedy Wheeler there. Their defense brings back some guys, but not a ton. So yeah, team wise and team success for this upcoming season is a little hard to project right now, obviously. But I'm with you with Tate Graham at 3, just with the whole body of work that he's got.
Yeah. Then right behind him, we've got Trey Garner out of Fairhope. That's who I've got at my number 4. A little over 2,100 passing yards last season, 23 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and he was completing 57% of his passes. Also one of our Player of the Week guys. I mean, when he's on, he's really on. I mean, the kid is also extremely tall.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's like, 6'6"?
Yep, good basketball player.
Yeah, also a dual sport athlete. I mean, I love a dual sport athlete. I love a guy that's not just, working during football. He's also, playing another sport. I think that gives him strength.
Yep.
And he's a leader on that basketball team as well. So, yeah, I'm sticking with Trey Gardner out of Fairhope, the senior, number 4.
Yeah, I agree. And, he falls in that line of talented Fairhope quarterbacks. They always seem to have one. And he fits seamlessly right in after I know I'm drawing a blank on his name. What was the quarterback 2 years ago?
That the one that went on to play at Jacksonville State?
No, the hang on, I got it right here. Jackson Robertson.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That
I was
line.
thinking the one before him.
Right, yes. But he's another one. Obviously Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
Fairhope's kind of always been known to sort of have the
like QBU.
QBU, right. Be interesting, Tim Carter retired.
Yeah, and we
in
still
the
don't know.
offseason.
We still don't know who the head coach is
Right.
going to be. That's another thing, because you also got to look at, okay, is it going to be a defensive minded coach? Is it going to be an offensive minded coach? Like, who are you going to get? We know some names that are floating around. We've heard some rumors, but it's still until they make the hire, you can't say anything.
Yes,
you know?
and he loses a lot off that offensive line, which was
Yep.
considered one of the best in the state. Parks Glaze is now at Troy. Wesley Sandifer committed somewhere. And they had one other guy that went on to go play college. So they lose a lot up there. He loses his top 3 targets, I believe, but he brings back his 2 leading rushers and about half of that defense, which was pretty good. So Fairhope, depending on who they hire, I think is set up for a really good year, and he's going to be a big part of it.
I agree.
Now, who do we have at number 5?
So this is where I'm like,
This is where the list gets a little...
this is where I'm like, I don't know. I could say J.J. Thibodeau from Spanish Fort, or I could also say, Gulf Shores is between, Major Hudspeth and Judd Harris. But I think just with the consistency, like starting wise, like he's going to be the starter. I think I've got to go with J.J. Thibodeau here.
Yeah, especially after, his season at Daphne, we knew what he was capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, it was a weird dynamic with him and Aiden Schamberger. I mean, we were coming in week to week, not sure who was starting or who finished the game in the second half because they were just using both of them so much.
Yeah.
But he seems pretty in line to fully take over that role at Spanish Fort after they're coming off a pretty disappointing season, not making the playoffs. he's going to have some weapons on that team. We mentioned Yalin Lee, the running back from Saraland. And, the Spanish Fort defense is usually always pretty reliable. So I agree with you, J.J. Thibodeau. We've seen him do it at Daphne on the then 7A, now 6A level. And, I mean, he was good last year when he played, So yeah, I'm with you on that. He's a notch above a couple of the other guys that we're kind of considering here right now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where it gets tricky. Because I think we're down to three. We're kind of considering three guys right now, maybe four. How do you want to handle the Gulf Shores job?
That's the thing. If you look at the numbers, obviously Judd has gotten more playing time, so he's going to have better stats.
Won a state title as the starter.
Exactly, but he won a state title in what was then 5A.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're playing in 6A now, which is now 5A.
Yes.
But you're going against different competition. It's just a different caliber. I give him all the credit in the world that he won a state title, but you're playing against Williamson's and UMS Wrights and those teams, and now you're playing against, this past season was the Saralands, the Theodores, the St. Paul's, the McGill Toolans. It's just different. It's a different level.
Yeah, and he was kind of a 2 years ago when they won the state title and they had Ronnie Royal and Colin Wilson and those guys. He was kind of like just a run threat. They used his arms some, but they mainly used his legs.
They relied heavy on their run
just
game.
Get Ronnie Royal and Colin Wilson the ball. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Which why wouldn't you? It worked. It was great. It was a great plan for them, and it worked.
Yeah, and last season he got injured pretty early. And so he's coming into this year off of an injury, having to really be that main guy. Now he had plenty of weapons. Nick Hampton, Carter Davis, Darian Kirksey, who came over from Mississippi. They couldn't really run the ball, which I wonder how much that kind of affected him. But his numbers just did not seem to kind of pop. Now, they made the playoffs and they won games, so, he clearly did enough to get them into the postseason. It's not all about numbers. But there was just a spark with Major Hudspeth when he came in. He looked like one of those young quarterbacks, like the Tucker Wades and the Davis Barnetts we have.
That's what I was thinking. He's like a Davis Barnett.
Yeah,
that comes in and just gets it.
Yeah,
something clicks. It's working for him. So right now, if I had to rank, I think I'd pick Major above Judd.
Yeah, I would too. I think if we knew Major was the starter, his upside, I would have Gulf Shores at 5. If Judd is the starter, I think there is a ceiling to what Gulf Shores can do, and I would probably have them a little bit lower.
I agree.
But his experience is valuable, and he's a good athlete.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't want to take away anything that he's done. He's extremely talented. But if you're looking at if I'm having to choose between Major and Judd, I'm leaning towards Major. It's also the fact that you're not just getting work at practice. Like, your dad's the head coach.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting extra work. Not that Judd's not working outside of practice.
Right.
I'm sure he is, but it's kind of how I look at with the kid at Robertsdale. Cub Jones, his dad is the head coach. You have a leg up when your dad is the head coach. Not that you're getting special treatment per se, but that you and your dad are talking about ball 24/7, if I had to guess. Look at Phillip Rivers and Gunnar Rivers. That's a very special, obviously unique situation, but you've got the mind of your head coach at all hours of the day. He's always accessible to you. And not that I'm sure Coach Hud would be accessible to any of his players, but you have to admit that it is different when your dad is the head coach.
So do we want to rank Gulf Shores, or do we want to just put an asterisk next to him and put them with the other teams that we kind of excluded until we get more information?
I feel like it's too hard without knowing definitively who the starter is.
I agree. So we will put Gulf Shores to the side for now, and we'll kind of do these throughout the next few months leading up to the season. I think it'll be fun to go back and update these look at him again once we get more information as the season comes closer. And maybe this is something we can do during the season, as the season goes along.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put Gulf Shores to the side. I think the other two, I know who I'm taking right here.
Cub Jones.
Give me Cub, baby.
You love Cub Jones.
This kid is a gamer. I'm telling you. I was watching some of his tape earlier today. I mean, he's tough. He can run. He makes plays. He comes from Beauregard, where he was an all-region player. Beauregard was good.
Mm-hmm.
And he steps into Robertsdale playing at the 7A level, making the jump from 5A to 7A. They won, 4-6, which is really good for Robertsdale.
For Robertsdale, absolutely. I'm with you here. I'm with you.
He made some really clutch plays. He had a 55-yard run against Orange Beach to seal that game in the fourth quarter.
I mean, the kid's talented. He's extremely talented. And that's another situation also where your dad is the head coach. I just think that there's like a special leg up that you get when your dad is the head coach. You know the playbook. You're going over it constantly because your dad's going to – I mean, if my kid's playing ball for me – they're going to know that playbook backwards and forwards. We're working on it day in, day out. Yep. Like that's how I feel about it. But I also think that Cub is just extremely talented and done things at Robertsdale that we haven't seen done in quite some time. So I'm with you there. I'm all for it.
So I think that leaves a pretty obvious number 7 here, right? Or do you not think so?
You tell me. Who are you thinking?
I think Micah Spivey Davidson. I think that's pretty reasonable. He's got experience. He was a successful quarterback, as far as like being able to play on the field at the 7A level. They didn't win as many games as maybe they would like, but he's a dual threat guy, completing 60% of his passes. Good low interception total.
Yeah,
and I think Kingston Butler for them is gonna maybe take a little bit of a step up as a weapon for him this year. And I think he's just he's been through a 7A season as the starter, and I actually think Davidson's gonna be sneaky good next year. And now that everyone makes the playoffs, they obviously will too. But I
just think it's a little more incentive to try a little harder,
for sure.
Because you have the potential to. You go to the playoffs, like anything can happen when you get to the postseason.
That's true.
So that might change the way that, some of these kids look at it. I mean, I think that you should go out there and want to win no matter what, but I do think it's a little different when you know that, like, there's a pretty dang good shot you're going to the postseason. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. He's another kid that is a baseball kid. He was out there at media night Thursday night and hearing him talk as well. And just he said that there's a lot of football players on the baseball team. And so I also feel good about that because you're around and working and building that chemistry with guys that you're going to be playing with in the fall as well. And I like that. And like I said, I like a dual sport athlete. I'm cool with this decision. I'm all right with this here. One that's like, I keep looking at it and I keep thinking, because like I know Zach Golson. I just feel confident about Zach and what he can do, and he's an offensive mind, and he wouldn't have this kid. I mean, is this for sure? Like, this is who their starter's going to be, or is this just kind of like what we think?
So you're talking about Thad Wilder.
Yes.
He's going to be a junior this year. I know this offseason, just from, little things that I see on Twitter, it seems like he's working his butt off. It seems like they're really high on him. He was at the Navy National Combine. I think that was last month, maybe. So he seems like one of those guys that once the season starts, we're going to be like, oh my gosh, where did this guy come from?
That's how I'm feeling about it. I'm just sitting here looking at it, and I'm thinking about MGM, and I'm thinking about Coach Golson, and I'm like, I think this Thad Wilder kid's going to be
and he feels like a combination. He feels like the perfect blend of what they've had to do at quarterback since Jared Hollins, because they go to Shondell Harris, who isn't a natural quarterback. He's not a traditional passer, he's a defensive player. He's the safety. And they made that work with him.
Yeah.
And then they bring Jeremy Menhinen in from St. Luke's, going from 2A to 7A.
Mm-hmm.
He's more of a passer, a drop back passer, and they kind of used him as a sort of game manager. Don't turn the ball over. We have plenty of weapons. Get them the ball, that kind of thing. It seems like this guy can run and is a very talented thrower as well. So this feels like it could be really, really good if he's as advertised.
Feels like they might have someone that's got the recipe for success.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what I'm thinking.
So you want to put the upside of him next over this other name who's started for a couple seasons.
Okay. I trust Zach and what he's doing at MGM. I don't think he would have a kid in that position that wasn't going to go out there and shine.
Yeah.
That's the confidence that I have in Zach and what he's doing at MGM.
So at 9.
See, I'm even forgetting numbers at this point. I'm just looking at okay, who's next?
We got 4 more.
Okay.
I think you've got to put. Oh, I just realized we have 2 Mackais left. I was just going to say Mackay.
We have 2 Mackais, and it could be either one in this spot.
Yes, I'm gonna put Mackay. Vangs. I'm not even gonna.
No, let's not even go there.
Gonna attempt it. The Alma Bryant quarterback.
Yeah.
Been starting since he was a freshman. He's coming into his junior year now. Alma Bryant, a little bit of success last year. They won 3 games, I believe. Which I think, no, it would not have put them in the playoffs this year.
Where were they? Was Robertsdale above them?
Yes.
I think they were in the bottom 2.
Alma
Bryant
you're
and
right.
Foley and Alma Bryant were the 2 that wouldn't have gotten in, right?
No, it was Robertsdale and Alma Bryant. So Alma Bryant was 3-7. Robertsdale was 4-6. Foley was 4-6, but had the tiebreaker over.
So Davidson wouldn't have gotten in.
No, Davidson would have.
Oh, okay.
The bottom 2 were Alma Bryant, Robertsdale.
Okay.
Then Foley, then Davidson.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But 3 wins for them in 7A is pretty good. And like I said, he's been playing since he was a starter. And I think this kid could possibly have a breakout year this year, depending on what Alma Bryant has on their team, because they lose Jaden James, who was a 1,000-yard rusher. Now they do have Anthony Sturgis, who is a freshman that made our all-freshman team at running back. So if they can keep being able to run the ball and he can sort of take the next step at quarterback, they may have a little something on offense this year.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Alma Bryant might surprise us.
Yeah.
So I'm with you here. I'm with you. So who you putting next?
I don't know.
This is we get towards the bottom, so it gets kind of difficult.
I think... Okay, well, I think last we have 3 quarterbacks left. I think just because of the situation and the team that he's on, it is no fault to this kid. We don't even know if this kid is talented or not because the team is so bad. But I think we've got to put Bo Carson for Murphy at the bottom.
Yes.
And literally has nothing to do with him. It's all about his situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Murphy is just poor things. I hate it for them, but they don't have the weapons, they don't have the numbers, they don't have the kids, and it's just it is what it is. It is what it is.
So for 10 and 11, we're looking at Jaden Mills for Blunt and Mackay Holmes for Foley.
Yeah.
I think both these guys, their teams, are pretty excited about. I think for Mackay Holmes, they were pretty excited about him going into last season.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like that team had some drama that maybe kind of...
Towards the end of the year, it kind of just put Foley in a bad position, and they just couldn't...
Right.
But this is... You know what? This is one thing, though. I might go with Foley's Mackay Holmes here, because they just got the head coach from Opelika.
Yeah.
He's a really good coach.
Yeah.
And Foley is one of those schools that's really... They've they've got the facilities, but they're also getting the facilities. Like there's some form of construction going on over there all the time. They're popping up new places all over the place.
And they've been a successful program in the past. You know, maybe not in recent years, but like when I was in high school, Foley was good. You know, and Foley, you know, Foley can be good, and I
think they're trying to get back there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that they're not going to be great this year,
Okay.
just from some sources saying that they're not going to be great. I think this might be still like a new head coach, kind of a rebuild situation, but I don't know. Opelika's coach is good.
Yeah.
Really good. Had a lot of success at Opelika. So, I mean, I think that I might just stick with Mekhi Holmes here. I think I might put him next.
And, you know, lefty. You know, you always love a good left-handed quarterback. I mean,
he's also a dual threat.
Yes, he is.
If you're looking at Blunt's quarterback, I mean, I think he's just, I mean, he's also a sophomore, so he's younger and doesn't look like he's much of a threat with his legs. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Mekhi Holmes, and then I would probably go with Jaden Mills after him.
Okay, so we've got Jaden Mills at 11 for now. These are just our initial sort of rankings. You know, I didn't put it on this list, but Jaden Mills and Mekhi Holmes have almost the exact same amount of rushing yards. So, I mean, I guess if you're going to consider the 57 for Mekhi, Jaden Mills had 53.
Okay.
But he didn't score on the ground, though, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. That's splitting hairs.
I mean, they've got the same amount of interceptions. I mean, Jaden Mills has 4 touchdowns compared to Mekhi's 2.
But he's got the 3 on the ground.
But he's got the 3 on, like, Mekhi's got the 3 on the ground. So.
And Mekhi's playing in 7A, but, you know.
But he's also a junior.
Jaden Mills was also
Jaden's
playing
a sophomore.
In a very tough 6A last year. So, like I said.
That's a hard one. Like, comparing the two is kind of difficult once you get into we're in different classifications. So, like, it gets hard right there.
All right, so let's recap this list real quick. You got to get downtown to go cover some Mardi Gras. This is a crazy week for us here at Fox 10 News. We don't need to talk about last night.
Yeah.
No.
About last night.
Okay. Our initial Big Friday Kickoff podcast quarterback power rankings for 6A and 5A going into the 26-27 season. Ineligible, Theodore, Alberta, Baldwin County, and Gulf Shores until we know more.
100% who the starter's going to be.
Yep. So, number 1, Jamison Roberts.
Yep.
Number 2, Christian Seeger.
Absolutely.
Number 3, Tate Graham.
Yep.
Number 4, Trey Gardner.
Yep.
Number 5, J.J. Thibodeau.
Yep.
Number 6, Cub Jones.
Yep.
Number 7, Micah Spivey.
Yep.
Number 8, we're going on the upside and potential of Thad Wilder at MGM over a couple more experienced guys.
That's where I'm at, yes.
Number 9, Mekhi V for Alma Bryant.
Yep.
Number 10, Mekhi Holmes, Foley.
Yep.
Number 11, Jaden Mills Blunt. And number 12, Murphy's Bo Carson.
Yep.
Did you like doing this? You think this is good?
No, I think so. I mean, it's also like, it's all hypotheticals on what we think could possibly happen. We're having to go based on our information from last season and previous seasons and what we've seen. And you've also got to think about the weapons around them, what they've had in the past, what they're going to have next year. There's been head coaching changes. I mean, there are so many factors that go into the success of your quarterback. But if you're looking at it on paper and you're looking at, what we have seen them do in the past and their potential for next year, it's good talking points. Yeah. There's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to break down. It'll also be interesting. We'll keep this list, and then once the season ends, we'll come back and look at we'll do rankings again. I think we should.
Yeah, and maybe, on a rainy day where we don't really have much to talk about, before the season starts, maybe we revisit it and see if anything's changed for us, maybe
once we get a better, once they go through, summer workouts and we get it, because I go out and I'll do previews during the summer, and as we get closer to the season, maybe I'll have a better idea. I mean, I'm gonna be out there seeing who's taking snaps. I mean, who's the quarterback, kind of get some feedback from coaches, and then also media days, like we'll hear who's your starter going to be, coach, and they're either going to know or they're going to be like, oh, we're not ready to say yet. It's between two guys. Like, you know how it is, the coach speak.
Yeah, and I would love to hear any feedback on this episode. If there's there's a better structure for it that you all think we could do, or if you want us to keep doing these for all regions or all classifications, if you want us to split the classes up differently, how many different positions you think we could or should power rank. I would love to hear what people think, if there's a better way people think we could do this, or if they like this and want us to kind of do it for more positions and more classes.
Yeah, and if you got some insider information, feel free to share it with us.
Yes.
There's plenty of y'all that are, parents, or you could be a coach that's listening to this. Yep. You could be a player that's listening to this. I mean, you know better than anybody. You're on the team, or you're, playing against these guys. Y'all know. So let us know. Fill us in.
That's right.
You can remain anonymous. We don't share our sources here. This is a safe space.
That's right. All right, well, get us out of here.
All righty, y'all. Well, I hope you all have a very happy Mardi Gras. Time for me to get downtown. We appreciate y'all listening to us each and every week. I'm Emily Cochran. He's Robert Ristaneo. This is the Big Friday Kickoff Podcast, and we will see you next week.